What is climate change? I discovered a few climate change definitions. Climate change is long-term change in temperature and weather pattern. Such shift may be natural or linked to solar activity or massive volcanic eruption. However, the World Bank to 2017 states climate change is a dramatic shift in typical weather condition over decades or longer, such as warming, weather, or drying. Climate change in differ from weather's fluctuation in a long run. But in my perspective, climate change is the steady modification on the planet's usual weather patterns and temperature, mostly caused by human activity that release greenhouse gases. The previous few decades have seen worsening climate change. Some are worried, some are not. The erosion of the high structure, forest burning, production of toxic gases, public burning, and other human activity contribute to environmental degradation and climate change. These actions, often done for short-term profit, have a major impact on the climate stability and future generation. According to United Nations 2023, the last decade, 2011 to 2020, was the warmest on record, and each of the last 4 decades was warmer than any previous decade since 1850. Modernization versus climate change. This shouldn't. World progress require climate stabilization. Big nations including China, the United States, India, Europe, Indonesia, Russia, and Brazil are major greenhouse gas emitters. Climate change reduces food security, economic growth, political stability, and illness. In extreme cases, it may encourage terrorism. Due to climate change, Southeast Asia would face haze, floods, drought, in rising temperature, and other hazards. It will disrupt normal life and causes extra problems. Southeast Asia is a critical climate change moment. This region is vulnerable to global warming due to its complex and interlinked vulnerabilities. Climate change is one of Southeast Asia's top 3 security issues, highlighting its importance and influence on the region's peace, economy, and stability. In Southeast Asia, environmental, social, and political factors have stressed the importance of climate change solution.
Next, we will proceed to the causes of the climate change. The Asia-Pacific area is especially at the risk due to the importance of the climate change problem. The increased frequency and severity of the weather-related natural catastrophes are linked to the 2 times higher rate of temperature rise in Asia than the world average. India has had a severe heat wave in 2019 alone, which causes water shortage in several areas of the nation. Moreover, due to its dependency on the agricultural and natural resource industry, as well as its coastal areas that are heavily inhabited, the Asia and Pacific region is more sensitive to the hazard associated with climate change than the other parts of the world. Place, shaky institution, and sizable section of the population living in poverty. Consequently, adaptation can make change a crucial technique for maintaining economic growth in natural or human system in relation to existing or anticipate climatic stimuli or their impacts that mitigate detrimental consequences or take advantageous chances of growth. A lack of flexibility might help progress, especially in nations that rely heavily on natural resources. So we move to the first point, is open burning. One of the causes of climate change is individuals, especially in a rural area, who often do open burning, which can be said to prevent daily activity. For them, this activity of burning garbage leaf is normal, and it's something normal to do. They are not aware of the long-term effect that will appear when this activity continues to be done without stopping. Overburning not only causes air pollution in the short term, but also results in climate change involving humans around the world. Responsibility parties like the Department of Environment (DOE) must take steps to stop this from keep happening again and again, such as by fining or taking a legal action against those who continue to burn things in open space. Next, we move to the gas emission. Climate change is caused by the gases released when petrol evaporates and the compounds created when petrol burns carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, particulate matters, and unburned hydrocarbons. Carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, is also produced when gasoline is burned. Next is powering buildings. The more developed a country is, the more it falls into the destruction of nature and the habitat. The statement described that the current state of the Earth, although the country is getting more advanced and sophisticated, the condition of the Earth is getting worse and worse as a result of the progress itself. Based on the research that have been made, the widespread erecting of high-rise structures in urban setting contribute to climate change. For example, in Kuala Lumpur, the skyscrapers that are built beautifully are killing our environment and can hurt our Earth. This occurs as a result of heat being absorbed in the atmosphere as a result of the sun's reflection penetrating the building's glasses. Next is deforestation. Deforestation is the intentional thinning or clearing of forests and trees. A large portion of the carbon stored in trees is released back into the atmosphere as a carbon dioxide when deforestation takes place, which contribute to the climate change. As we know, the forest is known as the lung of the earth. When people keep doing deforestation without replanting it, it can have a lot of negative impacts such as decreasing our oxygen and increasing our dioxide, which can lead to global warming and climate change. Furthermore, research shows that Asia lost almost 40 million hectares of forest between 1990 and 2005, which is a 12% reduction in forest cover. Nearly 50% of the world's tropical forests are found in the Southeast Asia, where deforestation is particularly severe. In the conclusion, even if the planet is warming, combating climate change may improve everyone's life. Small adjustment to our house, transportation, energy sources, and food may make a significant difference in the battle against climate change. From the discussion above, there are a lot of things that we can actually do to help stop and prevent climate change from happening. Last but not least, we are the one who change our environment, either for the better or for the worse. The state of our earth depends on our attitude, so the public should be aware of what is happening to the environment so that no situation will be damage to the health or of the earth or affect its life. That's all from me. Thank you.
So the first effects that I will be pointing out is hazard pollution. So recently, Bureau Malaysia claims that Peninsular Malaysia has recently had exceptional bad air quality, especially in the cities of Kelantan, Penang, Kuala Lumpur and Johor. It seems that Malaysian northern states are the hardest effect given that the wind movement brought the polluted air from the northern South Asia countries to Malaysia. Even healthy individuals may have a variety of short-term negative effect from the haze exposure if they are repeatedly exposed to the dangerous API levels for a few days. Children, the elderly, diabetic patient, those with heart and lung disease are the vulnerable group that are more at risk. However, prolonged exposure to haze may have variety types of fatal effect towards their health. Any exposure to the public is normally brief because haze does not frequently exist in Malaysia during the entire year. Bronchitis is an example of a chronic disease illness that can shorten life expectancy and raise the risk of cardiovascular death. As for the next effect, I will be pointing out about the ozone thinning situation that has been affected not only globally but especially Southeast Asian country. So, though it may be impossible to be able to fully stop the spreading of the carbon monoxide to the ozone layer that the human release every day due to the use of public or personal transport such as car, motorcycle or anything that basically uses fuels, the awareness of how damaging the earth has become these past few days should give the society an impact about the climate changes that has been quite concerning and the possibilities that it could be harmful as the world continue to develop. The effect that has been affecting the whole world is such as skin cancer. Being a Malaysian citizen, it is known that the majority of us were born with naturally tan skin tone. And according to the scientists, the more melanin that the skin produces, the less damaging the sun is capable of affecting us. Until recently, there have been a few cases that has been reported by WHO that stated in the year of 2020, there have been at least 0.15% total of death caused by skin cancer. Though it may not be much, but still, eventually, as the world keeps on developing, I believe that the number of death could be increased day by day. As for my third point, which is extinction of endangered species, the biodiversity-rich nation of Malaysia is home to almost 15,000 flowering plants. However, the country plant and animal life is critically endangered and has shrunk from 70% from its original size. As stated earlier, when there is a plan of building a tons of skyscraper, there will also a location being used to make an outline base from the plant. Malaysia is known to be one of the countries that grow endangered plant. With the amount of a new construction plan is being launched, the possibilities of a plant going extinct is also increasing. Though there might be a few law enforcement that are being in charge of taking care of those plants, the possibilities of killing it also may be high, and this could lead to a total extinction of the plant population. Last but not least, I will be highlighting for my last point, which is the fourth point of the effect regarding climate changes. I will be highlighting regarding the global warming that has been happening in Southeast Asia, especially Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, and almost every country that is quite near from us, which is located in the Asian places. In a world with an increasing human population, climate changes may have a serious impact on our ability to grow enough food, such as literally everything that being planted, such as paddy or even the veggies. Moreover, they can also affect the farm animals, such as cow, lamb, and sheep. Research from as far back as 2007 found that around 30% of year-to-year fluctuation to tons of crops grown per hectare were due to changes in the climate. It is remarkable under the circumstances that the global agriculture system has managed to remain fairly robust and that majority food storage have been wrapped. On the other hand, food prices in the recent decades have been increasingly volatile. While there are many influence on food prices, including crop yield, weather variation, international trades, speculation in food commodity market, and land management practice.
In this video, I'm going to talk about how the Southeast Asia overcome the climate change. As you all know, the Southeast Asia countries are flooded with high population of people, and it is located in a region where the people globally believe that the Southeast Asia are very exposed and easily to be affected by the climate change. Hence, it is recommended for this issue to be overcome as fast as possible to avoid from having any great loss. For the first one, encourage good practice to cut down on open burning. As you all know, that the open burning contributes greatly to the air pollution that end up becoming a problem to the countries that have to face the haze pollution. The primary practice that the people globally have to get used to is always implement the 3R, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. It is recommended for the people to purchase an item which is a disposable item that can be repaired, recharged, and refilled after using it for once. In addition, the people are encouraged to do a donation of their unwanted items to someone such as their relative, friends, or even charities. Besides, having a good practice of properly dispose the unwanted medicines and household waste, which is hazardous, can help the environment from being endangered too. Leaving the wood waste to compost in a proper composite site rather than open burning, it can help in lessen the air pollution that can also harm people's health. Moving on to the second point, which is reduce the usage of HCFC and CFCs product. What is HCFC and CFCs? So, let me tell you what is HCFC and CFC. HCFC, or also known as hydrochlorofluorocarbons, is a chemical substance that are frequent use in air conditioner and refrigeration, which can deplete the ozone layers and accelerate climate change. Meanwhile, the CFC stands for chlorofluorocarbons, which is a collection of artificial and odorless substances that can deplete ozone layers. The way the Southeast Asia implement in overcoming this problem is by practicing to reduce the usage of products that use HCFC and CFCs in their daily life. For example, the people of the country can purchase the air conditioner and refrigeration items that does not require to use HCFC as refrigerant. In addition, by practicing the Montreal Protocol, which is a global agreement to phase out the manufacturing and consumption of ozone-depleting substance, ODS, can help in protecting the ozone layer. This is because when lesser vehicles are used on the road, it can help in reducing the gas emission and pollutant that will be released to the atmosphere. It is in fact that burning too much of fossil fuel that contain many hazardous substances can harm the ozone layer. It can be seen that the Montreal Protocol came into effect to stop and maintain the use of this harmful chemical and managed to improve the ozone layer. Going on to the third one, practice planting trees. When the climate change continues to disturb the ecosystem flow around the world, it is really crucial to protect all of the plant species. Planting trees and other plants that are local to the specific areas may help in maintaining the population of the plant species. This is because usually the local plants are the ones who can withstand the change in temperature and withstand the rainfall in their local area. With sufficient of water during emergencies such as drought, this can ensure that plants constantly receive enough water so they remain well, so that the plants can absorb the carbon gas and at the same time it can also release oxygen to the people around. Moving on the fourth one, managing the forestry practice and land use to sequester carbon. The factor that contributes to the global warming is from deforestation and changes in land use causing the greenhouse gas emission to increase. The way in overcoming the global warming is by managing the forestry practice and land use to sequester carbon. The people can learn on how to properly plant trees and apply the rules of planting a tree after cutting a tree, so the land will be constantly be covered with trees. Furthermore, the global warming occurred due to the human activity, particularly regarding the burning of fossil fuels, or the increase of tall buildings due to the urbanization that can raise the level of heat-trapping greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The way on how the Southeast Asian slowly overcome this problem is by starting with encouraging sustainable urban development and transport. The Southeast Asia has unusual rapid growth, causing the urban population to increase drastically. Thus, this region's greenhouse gas emissions are rising rapidly as a result of high economic growth rates and the usage of personal motorization. In addition, the encouragement of the development of sustainable urban infrastructure can result in creating livable and competitive cities that have less carbon footprint. The priorities regarding this issue are the better urban planning and use land choice.
Okay, so for the conclusion is the word climate change refer to long-term changes in temperature and weather pattern, as was mentioned in the introduction. So like the most throughout analysis of climate expert in more than a decade cautions that unless greenhouse gas emissions are decreased, temperature will continue to climb until 2050. So in the Southeast Asia, they must improve its climate defense since it is particularly susceptible to climate change, and people should explore like for new material and technology and begin exploring the globe since it will benefit them, but they often to forget that it is possibly negative effect for us, for our planet also. So it's like a biggest country in the Southeast Asia like Indonesia, Malaysia and Singapore. So like for the Indonesian, they are the largest economy in the Southeast Asia, just like Singapore. So despite recent comment by the country energy minister at Indonesia that it could easily reach this goal, coal still provides 60% of the country energy needs, making it is the leading sources of emission from human activity. But in Malaysia has said that it would increase its usage of coal power while reducing emission intensity by 45% by 2030. So for Singapore, which during the previous 70 years has warmed up until 80% faster than the rest of the area. So it's like Southeast Asia developing nations are rely on climate financing in part to assist them address a problem that is mostly generated by developed nation in order to reach more ambitious. So rich country committed like accurately 100 billion annually in financing by 2020 to assist a poor country that are most susceptible to like climate change. But a new analysis reveals that the promised investment has not materialized. It is the report by the IPCC one that Southeast Asia would bear the brunt of a worsening global climate. So like I'm taking an example, like a country, like a poorest country in Asia was, in Southeast Asia was like Timor-Leste. So the frequency of future drought event in unpredictable, there is possibility of an increasing in their occurrence. So the effect of that, it is imperative to implement disaster risk reduction measure in Timor-Leste. So with like this factor pose a considerable risk to human health and needs sustainable attention from all parties involved. Okay, for like the events that
transplant in Timor-Leste are representative of the prevailing circumstance seen in other nations throughout Southeast Asia. In light of NATO, recent acknowledge of climate change as a security concern and the establishment of new objectives to mitigate greenhouse gas emission, military unit are actively exploring strategy for achieving decarbonization. So why is climate change is a problem? It is because no matter how fast we act, the global temperature is set to continue rising as a result of greenhouse gases that are already in the atmosphere. So the problem that we are already experiencing are going to worsen year by year, day by day, because like we as a human itself didn't have the courage to realize that we are ourselves making our surrounding being in dangerous. So every action, whether made by individual or significant organization, help to achieve the common objective of minimizing the effect of climate change and ensuring sustainable and resilient future for future generations. Thank you.